I held him until the end. And since then, I ask myself the exact same thing every single day. Did he suffer? Was he afraid? Did he know what was happening? These questions, they just won't let me go. Not at night, not in the morning, not ever. And the hardest part is, nobody has ever given me a real answer to this. No doctor, no book, no website, just empty phrases, just it was peaceful. Let's talk openly today about what really happens in those final, difficult hours. Not as a doctor, but as someone who needed to know, just to be able to sleep again. I've questioned vets, I've read research papers, I've listened closely. And what I found, it finally gave me some real peace for the first time. Stay with me, because these answers, you truly deserve them, since day one. It's incredibly comforting to know exactly what happens in the body when life visibly fades away. We often wonder what our dogs can still perceive and feel in those final hours. We'll also look at what researchers report today about pain and consciousness at the end of life. Most importantly, we'll see what all this means for your own silent grief and your memories. This isn't a medical lecture. This is an answer to the question that is tormenting you. Let's start with something nobody tells you, and that changes absolutely everything. In a dog's final hours, whether sick or old, something shifts in their brain. The brain begins to slow down consciousness, layer by layer, very gently. Like a light that doesn't just switch off, but is slowly, softly dimmed down. Neurologists call this the shutdown process, and by nature, it is not painful. During this phase, the body produces its own endorphins, natural, powerful painkillers. These endorphins are stronger than any man-made medicine, and they come from within. Animals, and humans too, often experience a phase of deep silence at the end of life. Not silence from exhaustion, silence from an inner withdrawal, from a kind of letting go reflex. Vets who have accompanied many dogs on their final journey repeatedly report the same thing. At some point, they stop fighting. They lay down the burden. It's a conscious letting go. You might imagine that he suffered, that he was terrified, that he felt entirely alone. But what the research actually shows is something entirely different, something much milder. Let me tell you about a concept that palliative care doctors know very well. It's called terminal lucidity, a final, bright flash of clarity. In humans and animals, there is sometimes a brief moment of profound clarity in the final hours. Suddenly, the eyes are awake. The body relaxes. There is a deep, true connection. Many dog owners report this: one last look, one last tail wag, one final, deep sigh. That's no coincidence. That is the farewell, conscious, dignified, in their very own way. In that moment, your dog truly saw you. Not the illness, not the pain, just you. Tell me in the comments, have you ever experienced a moment like this? I really want to know. Now I want to address the question that some barely dare to speak out loud. Many wonder anxiously, was he really terrified during this phase? The neurobiology of dogs gives a precise answer to this, and it is deeply comforting. Fear in a dog originates in the amygdala, the fear center of their brain. This center reacts to threats, to the unknown, to sudden, sharp danger. But in the final phase of life, this activity in the brain noticeably and significantly decreases. The stress hormone cortisol drops. The amygdala activity reduces. The entire body simply relaxes. That means, fear, as we know it, is neurobiologically highly unlikely in these moments. What remains is pure physical sensation, your warmth, your smell, your voice and gentle touch. And there you are, with your heartbeat, with your voice, with your loving hands. That is the very last thing he felt. Not fear. He felt you. Just let that sink in deeply for a brief moment. Please, try to embrace it. I am going to talk about something now that helped me personally more than anything else. It's about the question, did he actually know what was happening? Dogs do not have an abstract concept of death. That is a clear research consensus. They live completely in the moment, fully, without anticipating what is yet to come. He didn't know he was dying. He only felt how he was doing right then. And how did he feel? Warm, safe, right there with you. In your arms or near you, he felt the only thing that truly mattered to him. The bond, the voice, the familiar scent, the gentle hand that simply holds him. That was his entire world. And in that world, he was certainly not alone. And now I want to talk about a very special night, that final night at home. Many dogs sleep very differently in this last night than usual, noticeably calmer and slower. Their breathing becomes shallower, their body cools down slightly, their muscles finally relax. That sounds frightening, but imagine what that actually means for him. The body yields, it stops fighting, it lets go, because it is finally allowed to. Because he is safe, because you are there, because he can afford to do so. Some dog owners report, that night, they stayed particularly close to each other. The dog rested his head on their shoulder, sighed deeply, and just slept peacefully. And in that sigh, in that silence, there was absolutely no pain. Only pure rest. That wasn't giving up, that was trust. The deepest trust a creature can ever give. I know you might blame yourself for not staying awake the whole time. Or, for not realizing soon enough that this was going to be the very last night. And I am telling you directly, that doesn't make you guilty. That just makes you human. Because dogs, they don't live in expectation of the end. They don't demand perfect farewells. They take what is there. The warmth of a hand, breathing side by side, the shared silence. If you were with him that night, then you gave him absolutely everything. Everything. Now I want to talk about possible pain. And I want to be very concrete and absolutely honest. Many dogs experience deep physical exhaustion in the final phase, but not necessarily pain. The difference is crucial. Exhaustion feels like heaviness, like silence, like death. Pain, on the other hand, activates the nervous system. It makes them restless. It prevents sleep. If your dog was calm during that last night, then that is the strongest possible sign. Calm in that moment truly means absolutely no active pain, no struggle and no distress. And if he was at the vet for a guided farewell, then pain was completely excluded. The medication used takes effect in seconds. It's sedation first, then profound depth. There is no awareness of anything being wrong, just falling asleep, in warmth, in safety. I wanted to tell you this, because you know it deep down, because you deserve to know. Tell me, what was the question that haunted you the most? I read every single comment. I want to talk now about something that is rarely mentioned, but that many deeply feel. Some owners report, in that final night, their dog just looked at them. His breathing was absolutely not like usual. It was completely different, much calmer and deeper. Not with hunger or expectation, but with something that felt incredibly like deep gratitude. That might sound exaggerated, but research shows dogs are capable of complex social gazing. They read faces, they read emotions, they react to our innermost feelings and state. And in that look, in that long, calm look, there was absolutely no demand. There was only connection, a final seeing, a final feeling of being truly recognized. That wasn't a farewell out of sorrow. That was a farewell out of pure completeness. Out of the feeling, we lived this, we were truly together, and that was more than enough. And that look, that silent, deep look, it belongs to you. Forever. And now I want to give you the most important feeling, before our paths part again shortly. You carry a question, was he okay? And you've carried it for far too long. The answer is definitively, yes. Not without any sensation, but in what truly matters, yes. He was with you. He felt you. He didn't suffer the way you might imagine. If he could freely choose where to spend his very last night, it would definitely be at home with you. I am telling you something now that I needed to hear myself, and that changed absolutely everything. You didn't fail. You held him, whether literally in your arms or in your thoughts. And that is all that love can do in that moment. And all it ever has to do. Tell me, what would you have loved to say to him? I am waiting for your words. If you share this video with someone who carries the exact same question, then you know why.